What you should know about tax relief companies. Tax relief companies advertise their services through mainstream media channels and claim to be able to help taxpayers in distress. By paying them an upfront fee, which can total thousands of dollars, they claim that they can reduce or even eliminate your tax debts and stop back tax collection by applying for legitimate IRS hardship programs. In reality, most people who engage their services do not even qualify for such programs, and quite often the so-called tax relief company won't even bother completing the application forms required by the IRS on your behalf. They will not settle your tax debt, and you may ever find yourself further in debt since some companies fail to give refunds. The Federal Trade Commission has even received complaints stating that these companies had made unauthorized charges to clients' credit cards and made withdrawals from their bank accounts without permission. The FTC advises that if you are having trouble paying bills, it's usually better to try to work out a payment plan with the creditor yourself rather than pay someone else to negotiate a plan for you. This is also true when you owe money to the IRS or your state controller. IRS Help. If you are struggling to pay your taxes in full, you can fill out an installment agreement request, Form 9465, with your return. The IRS is obliged to approve your request in certain scenarios when you owe less than $10,000. And approval allows people to make smaller monthly payments until the entire debt is satisfied. You should still try to pay as much as you can with the return, since even if your request for an installment agreement is approved, you will be charged interest and possibly a late payment penalty on any tax not paid by its due date. Establishing an agreement and paying your installments will help you to avoid IRS collection notices and actions, such as a notice of federal tax lien or an IRS levy. In some situations, an offer in compromise allows taxpayers to permanently settle their tax debt for less than the amount they owe. This is generally only offered to people in limited circumstances and only after other payment options have been exhausted. In cases of extreme hardship, a penalty abatement may be offered by the IRS to people who have not paid their taxes. If the taxpayer meets very narrow criteria, the IRS may agree to forgive the penalties. Interest abatement is even more rare and is hardly ever provided. Even if your penalties or interest are abated, you still owe the initial taxes. The fact that these programs are very limited means you should be wary of tax relief companies who assure you that you are eligible. You can apply for any of the aforementioned programs without the help of a third party. In fact, when negotiating with the IRS, only certain tax professionals have the authority to represent you. They are enrolled agents, certified public accountants, and attorneys. If the entire fee for any tax relief service is requested up front, make sure you clearly understand how you will be billed and that you receive an explanation of the refund policy. Making a complaint. If you encounter problems with a tax relief company or a representative, you can submit a complaint to the IRS using Form 14157, Complaint, Tax Return Preparer. If your complaint is deemed appropriate, the IRS Return Preparer Office will submit it to the IRS Office of Professional Responsibility for an investigation. Questionable practices that are taken seriously include companies or individuals who promise that you will get relief from tax liabilities, misrepresent how long it will take to process a debt relief request application, or omit relevant asset information on financial statements submitted to the IRS. You can also submit a complaint with the FTC by phone or online. All consumer complaints submitted to the FTC enter into the Consumer Sentinel Network, a secure online database and investigative tool used by hundreds of civil and criminal law enforcement agencies in the US and abroad. So it's worth doing. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to leave a like and share it with your friends. You can also subscribe to iDispute and turn on notifications. That way, you won't miss out on our regular information videos and updates. Thanks for watching.